We've got a creaking sound in the back of this Volkswagen Audi, and it's very simple to fix. It's a part of the suspension system, and I'll show you how to fix it. You can really hear it, and especially when you're driving, it's very obvious. We'll go ahead and jack up the car. You'll want something a bit more substantial for these bolts, so we've got a 1/2-inch breaker bar and a 1/2-inch ratchet on the other side. This is a nylock bolt, so it doesn't have to crush here in order for the bolt to stay on. That nylon washer is going to keep it there. Now, if you crush on this, that's what's going to give you that sound, because that rubber can't move. So we need to lubricate this and then not put this on quite as tight. A plastic hammer is what you want to use here so you don't mess up the end of the threads. We can pull this washer off. This is a bit too long, so I'm going to use just a 3/8 extension, a bit shorter, and it's the perfect size. Alright, now we can pull this out. That squeaking was happening between this rubber piece and the bracket right here. To fix that squeaking, we're going to use silicone grease. It's going to lubricate it, but also it's safe for rubber and plastic parts, so that's exactly what we need. You don't want to use typical like moly grease or different kinds, because those will dissolve the rubber, start to make them sticky, and they'll dissolve to each other. It's not going to fix the problem, and if it does, it's only going to be temporary. And up here too. A really important step is to clean up the bolts before you put them back in. It's going to make them really easy to come out next time. And then we're going to put anti-seize on here as well to make sure it comes out even easier. It is really important to get anti-seize on here because, especially on suspension bolts, a lot of like salt water can get on these, they'll rust, and this is going to help get it off a really huge amount. You're going to thank yourself later. Now we'll start to put this all back together. It helps if you can to jack up the tire. If you can, it helps to jack up the tire a little bit with a smaller jack, and it makes it easier to connect this back up. Now it's the tricky part of squeezing everything together. With it all lined up, we'll tap it back together. We'll also clean up our hardware. It's always nice to put clean parts back on. Also some silicone grease on the back of the washer. And we'll also put some on the other side on the rubber. Now the nut. We just want to snug it up. We don't want to torque it down too tight. We can take the jack off the wheel. We'll lower everything down. Now you can hear it's almost completely gone, and with a little bit more working in, it'll go away completely.